Alright guys, so right here I have pinned my button allowances together, and then bear in mind that the pinning is just to help you have your shirt relaxed, and then you iron out your shoulder this way. The shoulder must be properly ironed in this form, and then if you notice the neck always might not really be relaxed, so you just have to trim the neck so you have a relaxing neck. So you have to take your time to do this as well. So the neck is still subject to adjustments and modifications. So right here, you always try to make sure that the neck is balanced before you start cutting your collar and measuring the neck circumference. So after you must have trimmed out a bit, that's this excess is coming out, then the next thing you do now is to fold together and then apply your shoulder and then trim your armhole. Then you do this to make sure that everything is in line. Then you make sure that the two front sleeves are together, while the back one will be together as well. So after that, you now apply your shoulder by 2 and then cut accordingly. So right here, the shoulder I have is 18.5 shoulder or 18 shoulder. Then you measure from the edge of the neck and then apply add a ½ inch or 0.3 for your joining of your sleeve. Now 9.5 is 18 and 19. If I trim it off, I will have the rest to be my sewing allowance. Then you trim off accordingly, right? Then make sure that your trimming is not exceeding the armhole of the front one. Then you have trimmed, and then the next thing we do now is to go and do your sleeve and then join your sleeves. So we now go down to the next stage of the sleeve joining, sleeve curve folding and then sewing. Alright guys, so right here, having seen how I'll gum the cuffs, and then it's now time for us to start coupling. So first and foremost, you need to start forming your cuffs. I believe you know how this one was gummed, and then bear in mind that I folded it ½ inch inwards. So first thing to do now is to give it the first sewing. Now this sewing will help you to have a decorative stitch on your cuff, and then also bear in mind that when you get to this stage, you are almost getting set or getting done with your shirt. So after that, you will now close the cuff links. I call it cuff because it's for the cuff, right? But then it will be button. So the general word is cuff or shirt hand, but then I use cuff because I know it will be button and not per se cuff link. So right here, you take the corresponding one, place it this way, and then make sure that the one under will be a bit bigger than the one on top, that's the one gummed. Then you are going to sew on the tip where your gum ended, right? This will help you to have an easy edge to bring it out smoothly without having much stress. So you are going to sew very close to the edge of the ending of your gum, right? This is going to give you a better effect on your outfit, on your cuff. So I'm sewing exactly on the edge where the gum ended. So right here, after you must have sewn, then next thing you do now is to fling it up this way, bring it out this way. Now it's going to give us a better effect and a better result than the one we do so on top of the gum. Bear in mind that we made use of collar gum to gum the cuffs of the sleeve hand. Now the reason for this collar gum is to give it a more relaxing effect. So having done this now, the next thing we do now is to iron out. Then make sure that all the edges are properly tucked out. Then iron it very well to make sure it's relaxed. So I will repeat this sewing on the other sleeve and then show you the next step to go. Alright guys, so right here I'm done with the ironing of the cuff. Now the next thing we do now is to fix our plackets on our sleeve. So remember I told us that the plackets, the measurements which I explained in the cutting video, so you can find your way around the video to see how to get the measurements. So right here we want to learn how to fix the plackets. Now bear in mind that I have also shown you how to do the slitting, do the folding of the sleeve. So the next thing we do now is for the slits. So how then do you go about it? From the line, that's the second line we folded, that's from the center fold 2.5 to 3 inches width, depending on the person's round sleeve measurement. So after you must have gotten this second line, then from that second line mark 3.5 inches inwards, right here 3.5, and then you slit, right? You split, you cut it in, and then getting to that point, give it a V-like cutting, ½ inch apart. Give it a V-like cutting, ½ inch apart. Now, this method can as well be applied on our normal senator cufflink if you are going to make it a shirt hand. So this is the measurement we have, right? So 3.5 inch inwards, and then give a V-like cut in there. Then, if you notice, the plackets is of two sizes, the bigger one and the smaller one. Now the smaller one is meant to stay on the other part of the outfit that is small, while the bolder one is meant to stay on this side. So how then do you do it? Now bear in mind that when we have folded, a certain inch was left here, but now that inch is one you will use to attach it to the sleeve. So you have to turn it inward this way. From the inside, place it inside, and then sew on this point. Now this sewing must be in line with the size of the inch that was left after you must have folded your placket. So when you sew, then after that you cut it off, cut the threads off, then you turn it inwards this way, then bend here inwards this way, and then make sure that it's properly relaxing, and then fold it inward, and then you top stitch in this direction. Now when you're top stitching, you as well make sure that it's relaxed. Don't allow it to have any foldings or rumples. So now when you are top stitching, the V-like cutting you have made, make sure that angular cutting there comes in down this way, right? Then make sure that this is covering the old line you have sewn, and then you sew from here. Then immediately you have sewn up to the point you have notched, then you can now cut off the excess of this, right? So now ask me what length or what point should you cut. So let me measure and show you the length. So the length that was cut was 4.5. So that's the point that we had our cutting done, and then after that you now sew and stop on that point. Then that's the first sewing for the placket fixing, right? Now, like I told you, this method can as well be used in doing our cufflink or the other method I have shown you. Then you now bring the bolder one. Don't forget, don't misplace them. The smaller one will be on the smaller part of the sleeve, while the bigger cuff will be on the bigger part of the sleeve. So right here, after you must have gotten to this stage now, then make sure that whatever allowance that is left here will be used in your attachment of your placket to the sleeve. Make sure it's even, right? Now, once you have gotten to a stage where you have gotten the folding correctly, and then place it inwards as well. Place it inward as well, and then you sew on that point. So the second one, you now sew accordingly from the edge where you have the allowance left. So when you sew, make sure you also stop at that same position of the point your slit was removed, your slit was notched, and then when you have gotten to that stage, you now fold it inward this way, and then you will now bend this one down as well. Make sure that it's flattened properly, and then you top stitch on the edge of this, right? And then when you must have stop stitched, bend this one down as well, right? And then sew accordingly. So when you now get to this point, make sure the one under is being tucked in properly, but then shift it a bit. Make sure you first and foremost finish the main sewing of the bigger placket. Then when you get to this point, most times it will not enter properly, so you're allowed to notch more on the main sleeve to accommodate the one beneath. So when you must have notched, and then you now cut out the allowance inside. This one we remove, we make the outfit to be light or lighter, so that you not have excess or too much high or excess weight. So make sure that this one is now lapping on top of the under one. Make sure it's lapping on top. Then when it's lapping on top this way, and then this one will be under, then make sure it's properly positioned. Take your time to arrange it. Don't allow any excesses to come outside. Then when you have seen the position you want, you can now remove this and then continue sewing, and then continue sewing. Make sure that the edge of the beneath one is as well taken care of. Then the moment you have gotten to the point of notching, you now arrange it again, then push the one under to lap properly this way, and then fold this half an inch. Now you can ask me what's the length of the folding. Now the length of the folding should not be more than 6, higher is 6 inches. So I have it at 5.5 inches. So this point is where my folding stops. This point is where my folding stops. So 5.5 inches, and then you sew accordingly. Then when you now get to this point, you now make sure that you give it an X-like sewing to lap it properly. Then when you get to this point, make sure you sew at least 1 inch up or high. Sew 1 inch high, at least 1 inch high, but the sewing must cut across the point you have notched under. Then go in this form as well. Then when you get to this point, you now come in a diagonal form. Now this one is as well important. It helps to relax whatever that is there. Yeah, so you can decide to make it 1, or you can decide to make it 2, depending on how you so wish. So this is how you effectively fix your cuff, your placket on one of your shirts. So the next thing, let me show you, this is how it is. So if you so wish to have it sewn in an X-shaped form, you can now sew in this form as well. But if you want to have it to 1, no problem. So whatever method of line of sewing you want, this is how you're gonna sew it. So this is how to fix it. The first one has been fixed, so I'll take my time now to fix the next one, and then we will now go to the sleeve closing, and then before we now join the sleeve to the cuff.